Hello, my name is Dennis Whitt, guitar instructor for classic folk guitar, and today I'd like to do a lesson called How to Change Guitar Chords. In this I'm going to be running through about 4 different guitar chords, and then after the exercise I'm going to show you the chord charts and kind of explain how to do those, and also give you some guitar playing tips on how to change guitar chords. So let me go ahead and run through this, and then we'll kind of break it down after that. I'm going to give you a little count off. It's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll start. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you would just keep repeating that. And what you want is to be able to get from one chord to the next without slowing down, without hesitating. You don't want this. If you see what I mean. Of course, when you're first starting out, you're going to have some of that. But this exercise should help to prevent that. So let me show you how to play the guitar chords and where to put your fingers. So the first chord in the song is a G, and you play that by putting your first finger on the 5th string 2nd fret, and your second finger or ring finger on the 6th string 3rd fret, and then your, I said second or ring finger, I meant second or middle finger, and then you put your ring finger on the 1st string 3rd fret. Okay, and you strum all 6 chords, or strings. Alright, on the next chord, which is E minor, the 6th string is open. You put your 5th, or your second finger on the 5th string 2nd fret, and your ring finger on the 4th string 2nd fret, and again you hit all 6 strings. The next chord is a C, and you put your ring finger on or the 3rd finger on the 5th string 3rd fret, and your middle finger on the 2nd string, the 4th string 2nd fret. The 3rd string is open. You put your first finger on the 2nd string 1st fret, and the 1st string is open. And then you play the last chord here is a D, which has the 4th string open, and then the 3rd string 2nd fret with your index finger, and then you play the 2nd string 3rd fret with your ring finger, and then the 1st string 2nd fret with your middle finger. Something I want to mention about the strings on the guitar is that you need to understand the naming of the strings. The 1st string is the littlest string, and it has the highest pitch, and it's also called an E. The 2nd string is a B note, and it is the open string, and then the 3rd string open is a G, so you got the G, and then the 4th string is a D. Just remember that the 1st string is here, the 6th string is the biggest or fattest string, and the reason that it's like that is because it's according to pitch. The highest pitch on the guitar is on the first string, and the lowest pitch is the sixth string. So anyway, we did the G chord. The next chord is E minor, and the only fingers that you have to place are two fingers. The second finger, or ring finger, goes on the fifth string, second fret, and the ring finger goes on the fourth string, second fret. Another little thing to keep in mind is that you want to play somewhere between the middle of the fret and just before the next fret. As far forward in the fret as you can get your fingers. You don't want your fingers at the back edge of the fret, because it's a little harder to press the strings down there. But anyway, so that was the placement for the E minor, and you strum all six strings. Now then, the next chord is a C, and you put your ring finger or third finger. Oh, on the fingers, it goes like this. This is your first finger, second, third, and fourth. So you put your third finger or ring finger on the fifth string, third fret. You put your middle finger or second finger on the fourth string, second fret. I don't know what I said on this. It should be the third fret. But anyway, so the third string is open, and then your index finger goes on the second string, first fret, and the first string is open. Now on this one, you only want to strum 5 strings. Okay, and the last chord here is a D, and you've got the fourth string open. Then you want to put your index finger on the third string, second fret, and then the ring finger goes on the second string, third fret, and your middle finger goes on the first string, second fret. And you only strum 4 strings on that. So you're going to strum 6 strings on the G, 6 strings on the E minor, 5 strings on the C, and 4 strings on the D. So let me go ahead and run through this a couple of times, and then we'll go from there. So here's the count off. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. Okay, now something I want to say about the timing is I gave you that count off, 1, 2, 3, 4. You want to try to keep it steady like that. If you're having trouble playing that fast, you can always slow down a little bit. But the important thing is for each chord that you play to get the same amount of time. So if you're playing a little bit slower, it would sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Another thing I want to talk about, and I'm going to go over this a little bit more later when I explain the chord charts and stuff, is that you've got different types of movement with your fingers. Sometimes a finger actually stays where it's at when you change from one chord to another. Now in the G chord, if I'm going from there to the E minor, you really have to lift all of the fingers in order to get to the next chord. So the name of that is called a lift finger. In this case, all 3 fingers are lift fingers because you have to lift them off to get to the next chord. So that's Then you lift your fingers and just put the fingers where they go. Now, going from the E minor to the C, you have two fingers right now placed, and one of them is going to go to the 5th string 3rd fret, and the other one is going to go to the 4th string 2nd fret. So it looks like you've got to lift both of the fingers on that one as well. And the same thing with the D. There are some chords where you have a situation where a finger stays put. Some people call that a glued finger. To give you an example, if I were going to a D7 rather than a D, I would go from C. I would leave my first finger on the where it is on the 2nd string 1st fret, and then just place my other two fingers. There would be no need to lift this finger up because it's in both chords. In fact, going from a C to a D7 is just a wee bit easier chord change than going from the D or the C to the D. But anyway, in this exercise we're using the regular D chord. So I did mention that sometimes you'll have a glued finger which stays put, a lift finger or fingers that you have to lift up off the strings and move them. There's one other type, and that is a slide finger. Once in a while you play a chord that like when you go from an E minor to an E minor to an F, depends on how you're playing it. If you were just playing 4 strings, you would go like that and then just slide this finger up and place the other fingers. So that would be a slide finger. I'm just sliding that finger up. Okay, so you'll run into that more when you learn more chords. There's really about 15 chords. Looks like I got a little problem here. My video froze. I might have too many programs open right now. I don't know what the problem is, but I'm going to pause this and then hopefully we'll go on. Okay, well, as it turned out, that freezing was just on my side. Didn't have anything to do with the actual video. As you can see, I've got some chord diagrams here, and after that I've got some playing tips for you. So let's take a look at the first chord here. It's a G chord, and the chord chart consists of 6 strings which run vertical and various frets which run horizontal. This thick line at the top represents the nut on the guitar. Anyway, you put your first finger on the 5th string 2nd fret. You put your second finger on the 6th string 3rd fret, and your third finger on the 1st string 3rd fret. And then you've got these open strings on the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings, and you strum all 6 strings. On the next chord, which is an E minor, the first string is open. Then you put your second finger on the 5th string 2nd fret, and your third finger on the 4th string 2nd fret. Then you've got 3 strings that are open, and again you strum all 6 strings. On the C chord, you don't hit the 6th string. That's the big string, the biggest one. You put your third finger on the 5th string 3rd fret. You put your second finger on the 4th string 2nd fret, and then you put your first finger on the second string, first fret, and then you've got two open strings, the first and the third. So you're only going to strum 5 strings on the C chord. On the D chord, you're only going to strum 4 strings. You don't hit the 6th or the 5th string. You've got the 4th string open, and then you've got your first finger on the 3rd string, 2nd fret right there. Then you've got your second finger on the 1st string, 2nd fret, and your 3rd finger on the 2nd string, 3rd fret, and you just strum 4 strings. And the actual exercise that I ran through towards the beginning of the video just involves trying to go from one chord to the next, and you strum each chord 4 times. You try to play it along with a count, which would be like 1, 2, 3, 4. So that kind of explains the chord diagrams. You would keep repeating that, of course, until you can do it without slowing down or hesitating. I mentioned earlier about these types of finger movements for your left hand when you're trying to form chords. There's a glued finger, a slide finger, and a lift finger. A glued finger remains stationary as you move the other fingers into position. A slide finger slides from its current fret position into an adjacent fret in preparation of forming the next guitar chord. Then a lift finger must be lifted from its current position and goes to the correct fret of the next chord. Now I'm just going to read this. You can pause the video anytime and look at these tips. If you struggle to make the chord changes, try slowing down a bit. If you're still having trouble, your guitar may be at fault. Have an experienced guitar repairman check and adjust your guitar's string height. This will make your guitar easier to play. You can also try playing with a capo on about the 3rd fret, or switching to a nylon string guitar. Lastly, a lot of people complain about their fingers getting sore. I very much recall that experience myself. It's temporary. You don't really worry about it. Usually within about 2 or 3 weeks of practice, you'll develop calluses on the ends of your fingers, which will protect the nerve endings in your fingers. Hallelujah. So anyway, this has been how to change guitar chords. My name's Dennis Whitt, and my website is classicfolkguitar.com. You can find my videos on my website and also on YouTube. In addition, it is classic folk guitar, so I have folk guitar lessons that are actually free on my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/classicfolkguitar. You might want to check those out. And one other thing is that I'm currently offering a free Skype guitar lesson for new students. Generally, it might be a folk guitar lesson, but also give beginning guitar lessons and lessons in some other genres as well. So you can sign up for a free Skype guitar lesson on my website, probably on my Facebook page too. It'll be a half-hour lesson, and pretty much go over whatever you want to. So check that out and learn more on my website, classicfolkguitar.com. And thanks for watching my video, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.